In this video, we are going to look at question 1 for the CSEC math exam. So first, let's start with June 2022. And we have here our first question where we are going to use a calculator or otherwise to find the exact value of 7 over 8 plus 1 over 6 divided by 2 over 9. Now, we can work this entire thing out on the calculator and I'll demonstrate. So here I have my calculator. First, I'm going to type in 7 over 8. So 7 put over 8. And then we're going to plus 1 over 6. So 1 over 6. And then we're going to divide it by 2 over 9. 2 over 9 equal. So we get 1 and 5 over 8. All right. And that would be our answer. Now let's work it without the calculator. Now we would have to apply BODMAS. And BODMAS says that multiplication and division comes before addition and subtraction. So I'll have to work out 1/6 divided by 2 over 9 first. And then I can do the addition with the 7 over 8. So what I will have is 7 over 8 plus, open brackets, 1/6 divided by 2 over 9. So that will be 7 over 8 plus, open brackets, 1/6. And I change that divide to multiply and invert the 2 over 9 and get 9 over 2. Now we'll see if any numerator will cancel with any denominator. So here we can say that 3 could go into 6 2 times and 3 could go into 9 3 times. All right, 3 into 6, 2. 3 into 9, 3. And now since nothing else will cancel, we multiply across. So 1 by 3 is 3 and 2 by 2 is 4. So I'll have 7 over 8 plus 3 over 4. And now we'll perform the addition. So to add two fractions, we'll first have to find the LCM, which will be the lowest number that both denominators can go into. So let's put my line here for my LCM. All right, and the lowest number that both 8 and 4 can go into would be 8. So my LCM would be 8. And now I'll say 8 into 8 is 1, and 1 times 7 is 7. So I have 7 here, plus, and then I'll say 4 into 8 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So that'll be 6. So this will be equal to 7 plus 6 is 13. So that'll be 13 over 8. And if we break that down, we could say 8 could go into 13 once with a remainder of 5. So that would be 1 and the remainder 5 over 8. And that's how we get our 1 and 5 over 8. Now here we have part B where we have 8 divided by 0.4 to the power of 3. Now if you look at BODMAS, the B stands for brackets, the O stands for power of, the D stands for division, the M stands for multiplication, and the A for addition and S for subtraction. So what we notice is brackets first, then you're going to work out power of, so powers come right after brackets. Then you have your division and multiplication. Then you have your addition and subtraction. So these are your 4 operations here. Division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. But working out powers comes before you work any of the 4 operations. So what you can do is work out what is 0.4 cubed first. And then you can say 8 divided by that. But first, I'll work the entire thing on the calculator. So if I'm working the whole thing on the calculator, I'll just say 8 divided by 0.4. I use this YX button here and raise it to the power 3. And my answer is 125. Now first let's work out what is 0.4 to the power 3. So 0.4, use the YX button here and put 3. So that's raise 0.4 to the power 3. So we get 8 over 25. Let's change that to a decimal. That's 0.064. So what I'm going to write is that this is equal to 8 over 0.064. So that will be equal to 8 divided by 0.064. And we see we get the 125. So my answer here is 125. So next we're going to find the value of the square root of 26.8 take away 2.5 to the power of 3 over 2. I'm going to write that answer to correct to 2 decimal places. And we could do this entire thing on the calculator, or we could just work this part separate, and then subtract the 2. So let's do the whole thing on the calculator first. All right, so first I'll have the square root of 26.8, right? Then I'll take away 2.5 and I'll raise that to the power 3 over 2. So I'll put YX button, and I can put open brackets. I can put 3 divided by 2 or use the fraction button and put 3 over 2. I'll use 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2 like this, and that's 2.5 to the power 3 over 2. And my answer is, the two decimal places, 1.22. So let's say you weren't comfortable working this entire thing on the calculator. Let's do it separately now. So I'll work out the square root of 26.8 first. So here I'll have the square root of 26.8 and get the answer. Now, seeing that we want the answer to 2 decimal places, what I'll do, I'll approximate this to 3 decimal places, and then my final answer, I'll approximate to 2 decimal places. So I have the, this 1 is the first decimal place, then the 7, then the 6. So after the 6 is at 8, so the 6 will go up by 1. So I'll have 5.177. So this here will give me 5.177 take away. And now I'll work out this 2.5 to the power 3 over 2. So that'll be 2.5, use the YX button. Open brackets, 3 divided by 2, that's 3 over 2. Close brackets. And again, I'm going to approximate this to 3 decimal places. So this 9 is the first one, 5 is the second one, 2 is the third one. So after the 2 is a 8. So this will turn to a 3. So I'll have 3.953. So that will be 3.953. And now I'll subtract these two. So that'll be equal to 5.177 take away 3.953. And I'll get 1.224, and now I'll write this to 2 decimal places. So that'll be 1.22. And of course, this 4 is less than 5, and that's why this 2 remains the same. So here we have question 1 part B, where we have children go to a rodeo camp during the Easter holiday. We have this person here buys bananas and oranges for the children at the camp. The bananas cost $3.85 per kilogram. All right, the person buys 25 kilograms of bananas and receives a discount of 12%. How much money does she spend on bananas? All right, so first we'll work out the 25 kilograms times the cost per 1 kilogram, and this is the cost per 1 kilogram here, right? So 1 kg of bananas is equal to $3.85. So 25 kg of bananas is equal to that $3.85 multiplied by 25. So that'll be equal to, and we have $96.25. Now this is the cost of the 25 kgs of bananas. Now they're saying that she received a 12% discount. So now we'll have to find 12% of this and take it away from the 96.25. All right, so 12% of the 96.25 is equal to 12 over 100 multiplied by 96.25. Now you can put that straight on the calculator, because 12 over 100 is simply 12 divided by 100, and let's multiply that by the 96.25. Now notice you didn't see I put any brackets here because multiplication and division is interchangeable. All right, so the answer for that will be $11.55. So I'll have $11.55. All right, so the total amount of money she spends on the bananas now would be the 96.25 take away the $11.55. So that'll be equal to $84.70. So here we have B part 2, where she spends $165.31, which is inclusive of a sale tax of 15% on oranges. We want to calculate the original price of the oranges. This price here includes this 15% extra. So we'll consider 100% to be the original price, and therefore 115%, which is with the 15% extra, would be this $165.31. So 1% would be equal to $165.31 divided by 115. And now the original price, which would be 100%, would be to multiply this here by 100. So we have 165.31 over 115 multiplied by 100 over 1, which is just 100. And we can do that entire thing on the calculator. So that'll be equal to, all right, so we have 165.31 divided by 115, and we're going to multiply by 100. And that's equal to 143.74. We stop at the 4 because we deal with money, so money goes up to 2 decimal places. After the 4 is a 7, so approximate this to, well, the 4 goes up by 1, so that'll be 75. All right, so we'll have 143.75. So this would be the original price of the oranges. All right, so let's wrote out the original price of the oranges is $143.75. Now for question B, part 3, we have the ratio of the number of bananas to the number of oranges is 2 to 3. 2 shares here would represent the bananas, and 3 shares here would represent the oranges. I'll write that out. All right, so we have the ratio of 2 to 3. So I have the 2 shares here representing bananas and the 3 shares here representing oranges. So now we're saying furthermore, there are 24 more oranges than bananas. We want to calculate the number of bananas this person bought. Well, they didn't give us the total amount of fruits that we have. Otherwise, you could have added up the 2 shares and the 3 shares and get 5 shares, put it equal to the number of fruits, and find was 1 share, the number of fruits for 1 share. That's what we normally do, and then that number of fruits for 1 share multiplied by 2 will give us the number of bananas, and we multiply that number fruits for 1 share by 3, you'll get the number of oranges. So we need how many fruits 1 share is equal to in order to work out this. Now, seeing that we don't have that, we'll use a symbol to represent the number of fruits for 1 share. So I'll say 1 share will be equal to X fruits. So now the number of bananas is equal to 2 shares times the X, which is just 2X. And the number of oranges will be 3 times the number of fruits for 1 share, which is X. So you'll have that being equal to 3X. So now we are saying that there are 24 more oranges than bananas. So the amount of oranges, which is 3X, is equal to, well, when you say 24 more, that means to add 24. So the amount of oranges here, which is 3X, is equal to the amount of bananas, which is 2X, plus 24. So we'll have 3X, right, is equal to the 2X plus 24. Now this is an equation that we can solve for X, so we'll bring the X's together. So we'll have the 3X here, bring across the transfer across the 2X, which will come across and turn to negative 2X. All right, so negative 2X is equal to 24. So 3X take away 2X is just 1X, which is just X. And that's equal to 24. All right, so remember X is the number of fruits for 1 share, right? So one share is X fruits, so 1 share is equal to 24 fruits, right? So if you want to know the number of bananas now, bananas represented by 2 shares, you multiply 2 by this X, which we have here. The number of bananas is 2 times X, so that's 2 times 24. All right, so we have the number of bananas is equal to 2X, which will be 2 times 24, which will just be 48. So we have 48 bananas in all. So now we are on to June 2021 paper, and this is question 1A. Again, we have fractions here. So what I like to do is convert my mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So here I'll say 1 by 7 is 7, and 7 plus 4 is 11. So I'll have 11 over 7 divided by 2/3. And here we have 1 times 7 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. So take away 12 over 7. All right, so again, no brackets are given here. We have to apply BODMAS, which means we are going to do the division first. But basically, we do multiplication and division first, then addition and subtraction. So So I'll have in brackets 11 over 7 divided by 2 over 3, then take away 12 over 7. So I'll convert that divide to multiply and invert my divisor. So I have 3 over 2. Take away 12 over 7. Now here, nothing would cancel, right? 7 and 3, 11 and 2, nothing here, nothing here. So I have to multiply across. So 11 by 3 is 33. And then we have 7 by 2 is 14. So 33 over 14, take away 12 over 7. Now we'll have to find our LCM between our two denominators here. So what's the lowest thing that both 14 and 7 can go into? And that would be 14. So now we'll say, okay, 14 into 14, 1 times 33, which will give us 33. Then we'll have 7 into 14, 2 times 12, which is 24. And if we take away 33 from 24, we would get 9, and that will be over 14. And that would be our answer. Now, if I were to use the calculator and just type in this information here, now there's no brackets here, right? So I'll just type this information in. Let's see what we'll get. So I'll use my fraction button. So I have 11 over 7. All right, we're going to divide that by 2 over 3. So 2 over 3. Then we're going to subtract 12 over 7. So subtract 12 over 7. And that will be equal to, see, 9 over 14. So here for part B, we jump straight into the consumer arithmetic. So here we have when Megan started working, she was paid $85 each week. After a 6 months probationary period, her pay was increased by 20%. How much was she paid each week after the increase? So what we want to find out is how much she was paid after the probationary period, right? So we have $85 each week, and then we have to add on 20% of that after the probationary period, right? So first we have to find was 20% of 85 and then add it to 85. So here I have weekly pay after the probation. So remember what we want to do. We want to find 20% of 85. So let's do that. That's 20 over 100 of 85. And what we want to do is add that now to the 85. All right. And that will be our weekly pay. And I mean, we could do that straight on the calculator. All right. So I'll have open brackets. It doesn't matter if we multiply or divide first. So I'll put 20 divided by 100 multiply by 85. So that will give us the, that's the 20% increase, close brackets, and then I'll add on the 85. All right. And that will give $102. So that's $102. And that will be our weekly pay. If you wanted to do it step by step, you could have worked out was 20% of 85, write the answer, and then add it to the 85. So now here we have part C of question 1, where we have in 1965, the population of a country A was this 2,714,000, right? In 2015, the population was 3,663,900. We want to write the population in 2015 correct to 3 significant figures. So that's this figure here, right? So remember, significant figures start with the first digit that's not a 0. So this 3 here would be a first significant figure. So we'll have 3,663,900 is approximately to 3 significant figures, right? So this 3 here would be our first significant figure. This 6 here would be our second. And this 6 here would be our third. Then we look at the number right after, which is a 3, which means the 6 remains the same, and everything else behind here turns to zeros. So I'll have 3, 6, 6. So that's my 3 significant figures, and now everything else is zeros, right? So 0, where the 9 is, we have a 0 as well, and then the 2 zeros. And that's your answer here to 3 significant figures, 3,660,000. Now for part B, we want to write the population in 1965, which is this 2,714,000 in standard form. So we have 2,714,000, and that will be equal to, so you know the decimal point will be located here. And what we want in standard form is one digit, one non-zero digit in front of the decimal point. So that one non-zero digit will be 2. So I'll write 2.714. Right? And I need to multiply that by 10 to some power. And now we move the decimal point right before the 2. So we'll be moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that's 6 places going to the left. All right, so going to the left would be a positive power. So that'll be 10 to the power of positive 6. And that's your answer there in standard form. Now for C part 2, we want to determine the percentage increase in the population from 1965 to 2015. So obviously, to get the, first of all, the increase in the population, we'll have to subtract these two figures, right? So I'll have the increase in population is equal to the 3,663,900, take away the 2,714,000. So that will give 949,900. So we'll take this population increase here and put it over the original amount of people in 1965, and then we multiply that by 100 to get the percentage increase. So my percentage increase is equal to 949,900 divided by the original amount that was in 1965, which is your 2,714,000, multiplied by 100. So now I can just put this entire thing into the calculator and get the answer. So I'll have my 949,900 divided by 2,714,000 multiplied by 100. And I'll get 35. That's 35%. So my percentage increase is 35%. All right, so for part D of this question 1, we have the ratio of teachers to male students to female students in your school is 3. So this is 3 is the teachers, this 17 is the male students, and this 18 representing the female students, right? If the total number of students in the school is 630, determine the number of teachers. Now we can use the 630 to find out what 1 share is. So let's write out the ratio. This is 3 to 17 to 18. So I have 3 shares representing the teachers, 17 shares representing the male students, and 18 shares for the female students. Right? Now this 630 is the amount for the students. So if I add the 17 shares and the 18 shares together, that will be equal to the 630 students. So 17 plus 18 shares is equal to the 630 students. All right, so 17 plus 18 is 35. All right, so you have 35 shares is equal to 630. So you'll find for 1 share now. So 1 share is equal to 630 divided by 35. All right, and now the amount of teachers in the school is represented by 3 shares, right? So 3 shares will be equal to the 630 over 35 multiplied by 3. All right, so that'd be 630 divided by 35 multiplied by 3. And you'll get 54. So there are 54 teachers. All right, so let's write it down here. Number of teachers is equal to 54. All right, so now we're moving on to number 1 for June 2019. So here we have our fraction question again. So first of all, I'll convert these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I'll have 2 by 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So that's 9 over 4. Take away 1 times 5 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So that'll be 8 over 5 divided by 3. Now, what you need to understand here is that this numerator here is in brackets. And if we had something to work out in the denominator, that would be in brackets too. So what I'll write is that this would imply that 9 over 4 take away 8 over 5 in brackets and then put divided by 3. That's what we're working out. So what we could do is work out this separately. So we'll find the LCM between 4 and 5 and work this out. So I'm just going to do that here in my working column. So I have 9 over 4 take away 8 over 5. The LCM between 4 and 5, well, I'll just multiply 4 by 5 and get 20. So that'll be the lowest number that both 4 and 5 can go into. So I have 20. And I'll say, okay, 4 into 20 is 5. 5 by 9 is 45. Take away And I'll say 5 into 24, 4 times 8 is 32. Then I'll subtract the 45 and the 32, and I'll get 13. So this is equal to 13 over 20. So this implies we'll have the 13 over 20 divided by 3. All right, so this here works out to be 13 over 20. As you can see, we worked out here. So now we'll convert this divide and multiply and invert our divisor. So we'll have 13 over 20 multiplied by, well, this is 3 over 1. So when we invert it, we'll get 1 over 3. Now, again, nothing cancels here. So we multiply across. So this is equal to 13 by 1 is 13, and 20 by 3 is 60. So your answer is 13 over 60. All right, so for part 2, we had to work out what is 2.14 sine 75 degrees, and we have to give our answer to 2 decimal places. So I have to do this on the calculator. All right, so I'll be typing in 2.14. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. I'm going to type sine 75, like that, and let's press equal. So the 2 decimal places, this is 2 point, the 0 is our first, the 6 is our second, after that is a 7, so the 6 goes up by 1, so you have 2.07. All right, so your answer here is equal to 2.07 to 2 decimal places. All right, so for part B, we have this person take-home pay is $4,320 per fortnight, and even if they didn't tell you that fortnight is every 2 weeks, you're supposed to know that a fortnight is 2 weeks and a month is 4 weeks. All right, so, well, so 2 fortnights make up a month. All right, so each fortnight, the person pay is allocated according to the table. All right, so this is the budget here, and this is per fortnight. All right, that's every 2 weeks. So we want to know what is the annual take-home pay. And we are assuming that she works 52 weeks for the year. All right, so you can take this in 2 ways. You can divide the 52 by 2. Because remember, this here, this 4,320 is every 2 weeks, all right? So you can either divide this by 2 and multiply it by 52, or you can divide the 52 by 2 and multiply it by the 4,320. So it's whichever way you feel comfortable doing it, all right? So what I'll do is simply say, okay, the annual take-home pay is equal to, and I'll simply say the 4,320 multiplied by 52 divided by 2. So that's 4,320 multiplied by 52 divided by 2 is 26. So that'll be equal to 112,320. All right, so moving on to part 2 now, we want to determine the amount of money that this person allocates for rent each month. Remember, this table is per fortnight. So rent is X, and as X is per fortnight. All right, so if we add everything up in this table, this column here is supposed to be equal to the 4,320. So let's do that. So we have X plus 629 plus 2X plus 1,750 is equal to the 4,320. All right, bringing like terms together. So we have positive X and positive 2X. And then we have this positive 629 and positive 750. So I'll write my X plus 2X together. And then I'll write my positive 629 together with the positive 750. So X plus 2X is 3X. And 629 plus 1750 is 2,379. And that'll be equal to the 4,320. So now we'll transfer this positive 2,379 across the equal sign and it'll turn to negative 2,379. So 3x is equal to 4,320 take away 2,379. So we have 3x is equal to 1,941. So now when I transfer this 3 across the equal sign, the operation will change from 3 multiplied by x, so the operation can change from multiplication to division. So I'll have x is equal to 1,941 divided by 3. So x is equal to 647. All right, so that's $647. And remember, this is what per fortnight. This X here is for the fortnight. This table here is for the fortnight. Therefore, this X is for the fortnight. So if you want for the month, remember a month is 4 weeks and a fortnight is 2 weeks. So therefore, we just have to multiply this figure by 2 to get the amount she spent on rent for the month. Right, so rent each month is equal to the $647 multiplied by 2, which will be $1,294. All right, so for part 3 here, we have if all her savings is used to pay her son's university tuition, which is $150,000, we're going to say if her pay remains the same and she saves the same amount each month, what is the minimum number of years that she must work in order to save enough money to cover her son's tuition? So let's go back here to our table and see that savings is $1,750 per fortnight. So we'll calculate the monthly savings here, which will be multiplying this by 2, right? So I'm going to put monthly savings, 1,750 multiplied by 2. And just remember, that's because this 1,750 is per fortnight, which is every 2 weeks. So and a month is 4 weeks, right? So that's why we have to multiply this by 2. All right, so we're going to get $3,500 per month savings. But first, we'll find the amount of months it will take to save this $150,000. So that'll be dividing this $150,000 by this $3,500, and we get the number of months. All right, so number of months. All right, so I have the number of months to save $150,000 would be the $150,000 divided by 3,500. And that'll be 42.8, and I'll approximate it, so I write 6 here, right? It was 857 and going on like that. All right, so I approximated 42.86 months. All right, so now we remember that there are 12 months in 1 year. All right, so the number of years to save 150,000, we'll divide this 42.86 by 12, because there are 12 months in 1 year. And I'll get 3.57 years. Now, seeing that we want the minimum number of years, we wouldn't want the fraction of a year, so we'll approximate this to 4 years, all right? So the minimum amount of years will be, to save this amount, will be 4 years. So this is approximately 4 years. And that will be it for this video.